So anyway, I can't really talk about anything that came of my call with Samsung. Not because I've signed any kind of non-disclosure agreement, but just because I've been asked not to talk about it. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But what I do have is an email from an installer who works on the wall system, like who is a the wall certified installer or works for a company that does it, and has also installed similar competing products from the likes of, actually, I don't know if they've specifically worked with Sony or LG's solutions, because LG's in particular, I don't think is prime time ready. But they've worked with competing solutions, they say, and they basically did not recommend the wall. I'm just going to read out their letter because it's full of really great information. I was listening to the recent WAN show where Linus and Luke were discussing the video wall and ideas for content. We do these types of installs all the time, and as cool as video walls are, they have a number of downsides. Now, some of them we talked about before. Heat, cost, those are definitely downsides. This thing kicks off somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think it's, okay, I'm just trying to make sure well, we showed you guys the installation guide last week that required 2 dedicated 15 amp circuits for a 4K the wall. So somewhere between, 1,500 watts and 3,000 watts. That should give you some idea. Apparently, the panels constantly need to be replaced. The panels don't always match, although there's another vendor, Sony. Oh, okay. Yeah, Sony apparently does color matching of each panel when they install it, and they actually keep yours on record. So if you ever need to get it replaced, you will get something that matches. They will pre-tune it for you. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Power consumption, that goes along with heat output, obviously. The need of a level 5 finished wall. So, man, the apparatus that you mount this thing on. They sent me a picture. It looks absolutely insane. Apparently, it takes days to install. Get this. The tiles will apparently shift with the building as it settles and moves. That's a problem I didn't foresee. And the depth of the panels. These things are not thin. I had thought they were maybe like this, but with the mounting on the wall, they are crazy thick. The email continues. Now, you could get some additional content on the design process that goes into the pre-install side of things. But the other direction you can go is projection using something like a Christie projector that is capable of 4K 120 Hz. Now, I'd heard of Christie before, but because they're crazy expensive, I'd never really looked at buying them. But then all of a sudden, if I was tempted by the wall thing,
if you're in the market for that,
I guess I might as well look at it. So they have a 4K 120 Hz projector. And this is crazy. They have a few options that have fiber-coupled projection heads. So what these allow you to do is put the projection head in the room with little power or heat requirements and super quiet. And then you remote the light sources from a closet that has cooling and power in it. That's crazy.
That's really cool.
I know, right? I had never even heard of that before.
Could that just go to your maintenance room?
Yeah, totally.
Close,
well, actually, I don't know about the distance. I don't know how far it can go, but it could almost definitely go out of the theater room. The projector is a little under half the cost of the wall and would need much less infrastructure. And they say there are a lot of brands of LED walls that offer better value compared to the wall. And sent a picture of a Samsung The Wall that they did for a client that I was hoping that the borders between the modules would be a lot more seamless. And it's the kind of thing that's like full array local dimming, okay? When you're consuming content and you're just chilling on the couch watching a movie, you probably wouldn't notice it.
Not a big deal.
But at that kind of cost, I would want to be able to look at it as closely as humanly possible and not see a freaking seam.
Seems reasonable. So no projector.
I think I've made a decision. I hadn't actually before I started talking through all of this. I think I've made a decision now. I am going to buy a micro-LED screen, but not now. I am going to pursue some other option because the reality of it is this technology, and I knew this. I just didn't want to face it. I just was like, I was wowed by the cool factor.
It's going to come down.
This technology is in that stage of its development where you can expect, it'll be like buying one of the first plasma TVs. You know, literally 18 to 24 months later, you'll be able to get something that is not only half the price, but way better.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's still one of those things that from a content standpoint, if it was a third of the price, you know, and I could get like 10 videos out of it, I'd be sitting there going, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to find a big like title sponsor for this series. We'll do some like really strong call to action. We'll do some kind of like brand integration like we've done with dbrand in the past, where we like do a custom skin or something like that in a drop. We do a bunch of promotion around it. We build like a campaign around it. Like I could have found a way to make it work, but at that price, even if I managed to find a way to write it off as a business expense, it's just not tenable. There's way more responsible things that I should do with that money. And I still want a micro LED display because I think it's the future. I'm super excited about the technology. I've seen it in person at trade shows and it's drool worthy. It's amazing, but it's not the right move right now. Not the right move.
Yeah.
All right. I'm committed. So
well, I'm happy, I think, because I think it was not a good plan.
Yeah, it wasn't a good plan. It was flex first.
So wait, what are you going to do
later.
short term? Are you just going to use your current TV?
There's lots of options. I mean, the Sony A90J is 83 inches. That's not exactly small. It's gorgeous. Boy, is that an amazing TV. And in a relatively light controlled environment, unlike what I have now, it could only look even better. I could explore the JVC projection option. We have projection screen companies that I think would be willing to hook us up. So that would make the price a little bit more palatable.
Or not need to necessarily, but even with a, wouldn't you need to make it somewhat den-like, cave-like?
A little bit, not to nearly the same degree though.
I often get the vibe with projectors that the space feels empty unless the projector is playing as well. Not as much with the TV, personally.
That's fair. I mean, one of the things you can do is you've got the speakers there, right? You can put a little kind of stage under it. That's where I'm going to have cable management. Like there'll be a little raised section under it. I think that I wouldn't go with a retracting screen. I don't think I'm going to try and do the whole TV behind a projector. When we did it in the lounge, what we found was nobody used the TV because the big screen, even though the latency is worse and it might not have as many hertz, the big screen experience is just so much better when you're in a big group gaming. And that's what almost everyone used the TV for. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just sit at a monitor? You sit so close to it, like this 39-inch monitor, 38-inch monitor, whatever it is in front of me. I mean, this could easily be a 150-inch TV for how close I'm sitting to it. Like, if you're gaming by yourself, use a monitor. And if you're gaming with a group, man, does that projector ever make something like Smash Bros. Just totally different. It's just different. You know, Mario Kart, that kind of stuff. Farrowwind says, I'm not happy. Linus just cost me $10 on a bet. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
It was a scary one, but we pulled through. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've known me long enough to know that
I didn't think you were going to buy it.
The odds of me making it that far were pretty slim, but I was tempted. It was just exciting. It was cool.
I thought if they came at you with something that wasn't "Who are you?" that there was maybe a chance. Like if they came at you with like an okay, like we're really hoping to see some content, but yeah, here's the TV, or like we'll sell it to you at a discount or something, that maybe there was a chance. But I thought there'd have to be some type of thing going on.
I was thinking about that after the call, and what I concluded was that the discount would, to make it justifiable, the discount would have had to be so deep that it would not have been realistic anyway. I don't think there was any way to make that a win-win for both parties, because just the amount that we can make making YouTube content versus the amount that it must cost them to produce that thing, those numbers weren't going to intersect, was what I concluded. And full price, I was still considering it, because maybe over the years I would be able to milk enough content out of it. But the problem with that theory, like if I thought that this thing was going to stay top of the line for 2 or 3 years, actually,
yeah,
I could consider it, because I could keep milking it. New graphics card comes out, I game on the wall. New game comes out, I game on the wall. I'd be the only one that has one. I'm serious though. I think
it would get old personally from a viewership standpoint. I think it would get old.
Maybe maybe you're right.
Because the I game on the wall thing, like the first time you see it, that's huge. I think that video blows up.
Yeah,
right? Gaming at whatever that screen size is, like, oh, that's huge, and you got a few different angles on it. But like playing Halo Infinite on the wall, it's like, okay, well, we already saw him play 4 other things on the wall. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
This is
maybe with like a very key new game drop, like anything that had Cyberpunk in the title right before Cyberpunk came out was kind of blowing up, and then everyone realized it was terrible. But I don't think there's enough of those. Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Ambler says, this is on Floatplane chat, gotta wonder if they actually want you to buy it from a PR standpoint, considering all those downsides that you heard about from the installer. That is a good question. Whenever a company isn't trying to put a product like this in the hands of influencers, you do have to wonder if they have something to hide. If maybe they know, it's one of those things. Like I've actually been wondering for a while now, why NVIDIA even seeds a card like the RTX 3090. Why do they even bother sending it to reviewers? Because we all already know the conclusion. The conclusion is cool technology, doesn't make sense at this price. What else are you supposed to say about it? It's flashy, stuff for people who don't really care about what the price of their computer is. That's what it is. And so someone like a Steve from Gamers Nexus, or Anthony from our team, or other more different Steve from Hardware Unboxed, their conclusion is always going to be more skewed towards the general consumer. And we actually tried to cover a very high-end card recently from the point of view of the pay whatever it costs consumer. And we got absolutely crucified for it. So clearly you guys, you don't even want to see these products covered from the perspective of the actual customer for it, which raises the question, what do these companies stand to gain by having the press cover these things if nobody wants to hear about it, right? Yeah. So I guess I get it. So maybe they're trying to cover up downsides. Maybe they just realize that there is no point having the press cover this, because no conclusion could possibly paint them in a favorable light. And the last thing they need, if they went and they dropped, let's say their gross margin on it is 35%. Okay. So if they went and dropped 200 grand on a review sample, so someone would review this thing and it ended up with a negative review. If the Mark Zuckerbergs and, Jeff Blue Origins of the world see that review when they Google it and ultimately don't buy it, what a waste, right? What a waste. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll, you know what I should try and do? If I'm going to go projector, I should try and get demo units from a whole bunch of different guys and then just do a video where I try like a whole bunch of them out.
The projector gauntlet?
Yeah. And I basically just make a commitment at the beginning of the video that I'll buy one of them, but it'll have to be the one that wows me, whether it's from an image quality or price performance standpoint.
You should do it as like a tournament and have brackets and have have one and one go against each other, and then they move forward.
Video title, there can only be one.
Yeah, that's awesome.